Men of Reddit, what are some things a mom should know while raising a boy? If you and his father are not together or you have negative feelings towards his father, don't tell him all the time how much he reminds you of his father. Don't tease your sons about any female friends, it usually leads to issues with them being unable to talk to you about things when they actually do like someone. This is one of the most important pieces of advice out there. My mom thinks every female friend I've ever had is a crush, when that's simply not the case. As such, I can't talk to her about female friends anymore. These apply to children in general. Please explain why things are being done, like why you're going to run errands, why he has to do the dishes, why he shouldn't eat all that sugar. It's very frustrating not to know. It's also important that you reward the good things he does, and punish the bad through deprivation of reward. You should also praise work ethic over talent, as that's the biggest predictor of success. I don't mean a physical reward necessarily, praise is often a good enough reward for anyone. Encourage them to be adventurous, to take smart risks, and how to negotiate. Was raised by a very overprotective mother, I learned none of these things till middle age. I'm a 34-year-old female and was also raised this way. So unprepared for real life. Parents usually aren't prepared to be parents until after they've finished. When changing a diaper, have the new one ready, and cover the wean. Cold air hits and they pee. I'm lucky that my little guy is 4 months old now, and has done this 3, maybe 4 times. Or if the hundreds of diapers. His nurses freak when we don't cover him. Course, now that we don't expect it, he's gonna get us in the eye one of these days. Mine once peed in his own eye. I couldn't stop laughing and he got super pissed off at that. I think he was around a year old. We had the garbage can at the head of the dresser his changing pad was in. One time he peed over his head and right into the garbage can. Another time he managed to land the stream directly through the top hole of a Kleenex box. Make sure he knows girls are also people just like him, so he doesn't be all awkward around them thinking they are some higher being. Figured that out myself after elementary school and now I can talk to anyone with ease. It's good to be involved, but don't be overbearing. The most stressed out and repressed guys I knew growing up were always the ones whose mothers controlled every aspect of their lives. Also, have trust and tell him you love him. Don't use your kid as a shield when mommy and daddy are arguing. Phrasing. This fudged up my little brother. It grew on me and I just got numb to it, but as soon as he starts crying and blaming himself, I know it's time to tell them to stop their shiz. I'm a girl and my parents used me as the shield sometimes, either in the argument itself or physically. Now I have issues keeping face when people yell at me or when my so gets frustrated and starts to argue with me, I just shut down. Similar. I was used as a foil between an NPD abusive mother and a gambling addict with anger issues father. I do not handle confrontation well, I get blindingly angry and used to get violent often. Trying very hard to improve myself. You are raising him to be a man someday. He's not your little boy forever. If you are arguing and he retreats to his own room or outside, don't follow along continuing the argument. Young people have a hard time expressing themselves and may need time to process their thoughts. Men are too often given the impression that they are only allowed specific responses, and unfortunately one of them is anger. As a teenager I couldn't get away from my parents when we argued and I ended up feeling trapped. Actually knock and wait. They might not be masturbating but they still like their privacy. Otherwise they lock their door so you can't get in. They close themselves into a mental cage because you thought it was a great idea to just barge into little Timmy's room when he specifically stated that he doesn't like it when you do that. My parents got mad at me if my door was ever closed. I really liked being alone. It was horrible. When your teenage son suddenly wants to do his own laundry, let him. You do not need to be touching what he is trying to wash away. Also, you don't have to do his laundry. Win-win situation, right? Little dude has 2 dads, I'm used to washing jizzy sheets. To be fair, a lot of kids, unless they constantly hear it, don't think their parents have sex. This was me until I was like 13 or 14. I thought they only had sex to have my siblings and me, nothing more. I was wrong, very wrong. Hell, I'm 30 and I still prefer to think that's the case. Teach him to cook. My post-college roommate had his mom cook all of his meals. It was embarrassing to watch him try to operate a kitchen when he decided he wanted to make something of his own. Teach him to cook. But only if you yourself do, in fact, know how to cook. Luckily for you, I'm the cook. Look at me. I'm the cook now. Banning him from leaving the house alone at age 12 until he's 16 because there's a single pedophile in the area isn't going to give him any good habits. R/oddly specific. Also R/suspiciously specific. What a tongue twister. Open a savings account and chuck $10 or $20 in there a week. It will help him out a ton in the future. Yes. I've started doing this, and it's thanks to my mom. If you call for him in the other room, and he responds with yes, actually ask him to come rather than not saying anything. I'm a girl, and this is the most annoying shiz ever. I always have to quit my game or they'll get mad too, and can even be for the smallest things sometimes. It's even worse when they call your name, you go there, and you're asked to do something which requires you to go back to where you were. LOL totally. Mom be like come here. And ID go there and then shed be like can you clean your room? If it's shaped like a sword, it's a fudging sword. I don't care how old you are, it's a sword. Also, a kid pretending his finger, or a stick, or a Pop-Tart, is a gun is in absolutely no way an indication that there's anything wrong with your kid or that he's going to become a school shooter or something. Wait, that's a thing? There's a big push in schools and summer camps right now to get rid of any references to weapons and death. Backwards. Logic is that less kids will turn out to be violent if they aren't allowed to even talk about violence. The penis grows during puberty. My mom has little knowledge of male biology. When I was like 6 or 7, she teased me that my penis was too small. Of course it's small, I'm only 6, and it grows as I grow older. P.S. My wee-wee isn't small anymore. What the actual fudge, that's how you instantly give someone self-esteem issues. That's exactly what happened to me. I grew thinking that my dick was small until I was in college and a friend of mine made me show her and she was surprised. My dyslexia read that as until I was in college and friends showed me hers and she was surprised. I was like, wow, that's a whole new spin to the story. Help him to understand you can't mask Bo, especially by using half a can of deodorant. Deodorant needs to be thought as pre-adherent to work properly.